Happy Tuesday, y'all. I bet you're thinking, where you been, girl? Yeah, I've been around the world like 5 times. That's what it feels like for the last 5 days. But we're not going to stay in the kitchen. We got to go and check the garden. I have been able to get some work done out in the garden. But let me show you real quick what I'm working on, and then we're going to talk about what's been happening in Lippy's world. Okay, I've got some ham in here I pulled out of the freezer that I diced. I cut up an onion, and I also cut up a carrot. Y'all know that I love carrots when I'm making like Great Northerns, and that's what we're eating today is some Great Northern beans. So I'm just kind of getting a little char, and I do have a little bit of bacon grease in here just to give some added flavor. All right, I'm going to put in my Great Northerns that I did wash, and I went through them. And I always like to kind of stir them around and get some of that goodness off the bottom onto these beans. Perfect. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of water, no seasoning. Now remember, my rule of thumb is I don't believe in seasoning dry beans for the first hour and a half to 2 hours, because these beans will not absorb the flavor in their hard shell state like they are right now. You want them beans to get a little bit of softness to them, and then therefore when you do season them, they will take on that flavor. Add a little bit of water, 1 more cup. Let's see where we're at. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. Okay. Over here, I've got 2 of the ham steaks thawing, and I'm going to cook them to go with our beans this evening. So I just got them sitting over here wrapped and thawing. And that was just one of the ham steaks that I did dice in this. Okie dokie. Bring it up to a boil, not a hard boil, and put the lid on, let it simmer so we can go outside. So while we wait on those to come up to a semi-boil, let me tell you what I've been doing. Friday, hang on, my hands are sticky. Hang on a minute. Okay, Friday, let's see. I want to say it rained a little bit. Everything's been a fog, y'all. But Friday, I didn't do a video. I'm trying to remember what all I was into Friday, but anyhow, let's go to Saturday. Our granddaughter, Michaela, many of you know, is in Bobcat Bells. Well, they had the state competition in Galveston, Texas, actually at Moody Gardens, and it was a 2-day event, and it was different categories from jazz to military to hip-hop, you know, different categories of dance performances. So as you competed, each division, you moved up or, you know, that's where you stopped. Well, I couldn't make the trip. But the good thing about it is the company that was putting it on, they're out of Dallas, they allowed for live stream. So I spent from Saturday morning, let's see, I think it was 6:30 in the morning when they got there to practice. Now we're talking about dance teams in schools, and there was also groups from dance studios, the entire state of Texas. So there was thousands of girls, okay, and guys. So the first live, I believe, began at 8 a.m. Yeah, because they went on at 8:15 in the morning. So it was like us being there. And it was about every hour, I guess, hour and a half, there was different performances. So needless to say, these girls did so well that they competed all the way to 10:15 Saturday night. And that's when Momo could get off the live stream. Because, I mean, like I said, we were working, you know, outside because we had rain in and out on Saturday. Sunday, it was horrible. but we didn't get the severe weather. That stayed east of us and southeast, I think. So at 10:15, when they ended the live, well, Pawpaw and my eyes were like crossed. And of course, Grandpa, he was watching it as well. So that was Saturday. We spent basically all day Saturday night, going in and out because they had 3 different lives and you were having to click on each one to be able to watch their performances. So, okay, it's come up to a boil, so now we can turn it down to a low, and then I can put the lid on. Hang on. And I'm just going to kind of vent the lid. That way, once the temp of the stove goes down some, I can secure the lid and we can go outside. So Sunday morning, we said, okay, we're going to try and work. Well, that didn't happen. It would come a rain and stop and come a rain. So Sunday was basically a washout, but the girls also performed Sunday. So I said, okay, I'll make us a small Sunday lunch, and I'm just going to watch and see. And I think it ended at 4:30 Sunday evening, and I'm proud to say they took home, I believe, 4 trophies. I can't remember the division. I have it on my phone, but I can't remember the division. So I was very proud of all the girls with the Bobcat bells, because I'm going to tell you what, them girls work. They worked their self. I mean to tell you, they gave it their all, and the trophies showed. So anyway, yesterday was Monday, and we had rain coming in too, but that's not what stopped me from filming. It's because my car had an appointment to go into the shop. So Buddy took off yesterday, and we took off at 7:30 in the morning to take my car into the shop. We was able to pick it up at 4:30 yesterday evening. In the storms, it was nasty. And let's say now my car has 4 tires, which is what it needed. They were 6 years old, but that's not all. 4 new tires, 4 new rotors, complete wrap, 4 brakes, and they had to drain the brake fluid and put new brake fluid in. And here we go again. Let's get a facial. So guys, that's what we did. That was where I've been Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And something is telling me Friday, but I can't tell you what Friday was because I'm still running on fumes right now between the 2 days of dance and then getting the bad news about my vehicle, which, mind you, we bought that vehicle in 2012. It's a 2012 Ford Expedition XL, XT, something like that, y'all. Brand new. It had 12 miles on it. I'm the only owner. It has 85,000 miles, which I about cried when I realized it was 85,000. I know to some that's not a lot of miles, but guys, I don't go anywhere. But traveling to Texas, and of course all the driving with Kentucky, y'all know about that for 10 months. So it had 85,000 miles on it, and it's the first time anything has ever had to be done to it, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm just going to say, man, does rotors and brakes and tires break the bank. Holy Toledo. I literally was almost in tears. So by the time we got home, it was 5:30, and I knew I needed to get us something quick to eat. And I got me a cup of coffee, and I literally sat there numb and exhausted, and I was in the bed by 8:15, 8:30. No lie, I was just done, just completely done. But now that this has come down to a simmer, we got to go to the garden. But as I walk to the garden, I'm going to right now insert a clip because Saturday morning, yes, Grandpa came out Saturday when I told you we were in between the little rain showers. And he said something. I was standing out there, and I filmed him. And you're going to get a kick out of it. So, Grandpa can confirm I'm a little wacko, okay? And he was picking at me. So, I'm going to insert that clip while I walk out to the garden, And we're going to look at all that we've been able to do. And then I'm also going to update y'all on the big ditch that Buddy's been digging. So it's going to be kind of like a all-around day for you and I. But I've missed y'all. But that's where I've been. So I appreciate all the emails, the text messages. Nothing is wrong per se. Well, no, nothing is wrong. It's just life happens. We have to be at other places, doing other things. Of course, I was on lives, but I felt like I was in Galveston, Texas, the whole time with my granddaughter, making these memories, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. Because had I put that aside, I wouldn't have the memories to lean back on, nor would she. So, hope y'all understand, but when it comes to family, y'all know, family will always be my priority. So, enjoy Grandpa's snarky, smart butt way. Y'all, but you're going to laugh because I laughed my behind off because I thought it was freaking hilarious because I actually said, Grandpa, what did you just do? And he did it again, and I got it on film because I was like, I know he ain't dogging me. He was dogging me, y'all. What are you doing, Grandpa?
I'm fixing, all this stuff is in a line, and Miss Lippy went to complaining because this here wasn't straight with everything else, so I'm fixing to line it back up. Get it exactly right. So she won't be complaining.
Look crooked.
A little bit crooked.
Yeah, look. That's better.
Yeah, that, and I see one of them poles in that mess right there that's leaning over a little bit too far too, so we gotta straighten that up. Now then, is that better?
Better, Grandpa.
All right.
Isn't that funny what Grandpa's did? I was like, what did you just say? He said, oh, and he did it again. He didn't know I was filming him. You can't tell me that's not funny. Oh my God. That did crack me up. And what happened was, Buddy wanted to know how far I wanted the buckets. And I said, they need to be in line. He said, but there's room for 2 more. I said, they got to be in line. Hence why Grandpa did what he did. So let's do a walk around the garden. Then we're going to go back into the house. I got to check our beans. I've got to make some cornbread. So, yeah, hope you enjoy the garden because, guys, it's a little cool, but the sun's out. But I am one happy gal right here. There's life in the garden. Let's start right here. My zinnias, my snapdragons, and right over there, my dahlias have come up, and I set them out here to get a little bit of sun and a little bit of the rain, but you see I tucked them underneath the table so they wouldn't just get doused. Okay, we're at the front of the garden. This is where I've put some zinnias, and I've only seen one coming up, but I just did them, about a week ago? Now over here, the dahlias are really starting to pop. You know, I had them here last year, and they done so well, I went ahead and chose to plant those again this year. I'm still filling up this bed. I'm gonna try to work on it this afternoon. Go ahead and get it filled up so I can get some planted there. And yes, we're back to that straw. Anywhere there's straw, I have planted. And this is where I put my jade green beans. More jade green beans. I do have to add dirt here. I see that Grandpa missed that. So I'm going to add some dirt to that because I don't want the sides to wash in. Here's my 3rd bed of jade green beans. And I did contenders here and here. And then over here, I've got my pink eye top picks. I just did 1 bed. Now, if y'all remember last year, I had peppers on this side. Well, this year, this is where my determinate tomatoes are. Now, this is the celebrity. You see the card there? That's the ones that we purchased. And here's that tomato 444. that I purchased. I only purchased one to see how it does. It's a determinate, you know, it looks like a good slicing tomato. I've got a sweet banana here, as well as all the way down, and I did incorporate the marigolds. But all the way down is nothing but sweet bananas. Here is my Space Master cucumber. Remember, I seed started that, and then right here, I planted one Saturday. Actually, I planted 2 seeds. Whichever one comes up the best, I'll snip the other one. The same thing with the Market More. There's a seed start there. And then I direct sowed over here. Remember, I told y'all I was going to do both. And these 2 beds, I direct sowed gherkins, because that's what the grandkids really want, is some gherkins. So I did 2 beds of those. It'll be equivalent to 4 plants. And this is where I put all of my red Marconi peppers. I chose to go and put them here all the way down. So this is my sweet peppers. Now, Buddy and Grandpa was able to get these beds filled, and they stopped right where that fencing is. This is a mulberry tree that Buddy grafted across the street, Mr. Craig's, last year, and put it in this pot, and it's going to go where this flag is. I do want to get 2 to 3 ornamental trees, only this is going to be a large mulberry. And yes, it's going to bring in some birds, but I'm trying to utilize natural elements for my shade moving forward. And these grow pretty fast, because look at it, and it's only a year old. I haven't decided yet what I'm putting here. It's probably going to be the sweet potatoes. Whenever the slips come up, it's starting to warm up enough that I should start seeing some slips. And here is the potatoes. Buddy did add some more dirt, but they're doing good. Remember that little empty spot? And I said, well, nothing's coming up. Well, they are coming up. They were just slow. So here is Mr. Buddy's red Pontiac potatoes. The bent's doing good. It loved the rain that it got, and you see a little bit of the shade. So we're still getting the same sun as we got last year at this time. So I think we're going to do just fine. Moe's lemon balm, you know, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's got pretty color. It's got growth. So I think Moe's lemon balm's going to be fine. And there's the lemon thyme, like the other one that I planted last year. And it's coming on. You remember, it was very tiny when I planted it 2 weeks ago. Now, as you can see, we do have something missing. Do y'all remember? I know you can see by the shadow right there. Remember that long wooden boxes that he brought in? Well, we told you we were going to take them out. What we're doing is extending with the landscape timbers that these other ones are sitting on. We're going to extend it all the way down, even with this run. Landscape timbers, and that's where we're going to put our buckets that's in the greenhouse right now. Because you see that panel right there? Well, we had that last year. And we had the same one here last year. Well, we have enough panels to be able to run them all the way down, which is 2 more panels. And we're going to run these and actually put our shade cloths on top of this. It makes sense. We have the material, and we're not going to run the shade cloth with the expense of the boards. We're going to leave that on the side, but instead of doing individuals and adding the wood, we're just going to use the cattle panels, and we're going to adhere our shade cloth. But I'm only going to do it, I'm only going to do it across the run till about right here. So the direct sun, when it hits middle of the day, it's going to be shaded. But as the sun starts going below the trees, I'll still be able to get indirect sunlight. So what I chose to do right here is put my indeterminate tomatoes right here. So you see? So I've got 5. I have one more like this one to put here, but we got to do the panels. And then once we get past, which I did put a cage here for this indeterminate tomato, because it really needed something until we can extend our hoop. And then this is where I put the squash. Just like I did last year, they do very well with these square cages. And you new followers, you'll find out that I actually trim all of my squash plants underneath. But as the garden season progresses, I'll show you how I do that. But yeah, it's the same thing. I've got 2 yellow squash, and I do have 1 patty pan, and I have 2 zucchini. Now I'm working on amending. I've got these 3 amended. Now all I got to do is top them off. I still have to work with these 3. But the rain and the dance kind of got me behind. But I have indeterminate tomatoes here as well. And the reason why I'm doing this is, instead of having to deal with 7 and 8 foot indeterminate tomatoes, I'm going to move them up and have them trained to go over the cattle panels. And I think it's going to work out fantastic. Remember the lantanas that I purchased? I put them into these tubs. You see there's a little bit of water, but Buddy did put more drain holes. And it's exactly what I wanted. Here is the other mulberry bush, okay? I'm gonna put it here. So if I scan out, you see where the flower is. If I zoom in, you see that sunflower right there? Well, right behind that sunflower is where that one mulberry tree will be planted. So then when I step out, this other one, where you see that orange flag, it's going to be planted. So what I'm thinking is, between the 2, and these can reach up to 20 feet tall to 25, that will give me natural shade as they grow up, and I'll keep them landscaped into like a canopy. You know, we're going to try it. I think it's going to work. I had a mulberry tree at our old garden, and it kept the birds actually out of my garden. I just shared the mulberries with them. And I thought my yellow trumpet was gone. I put it here because it does get very large. But, and y'all forgive the mess, we're out here still trying to work. But I do see life. So we're gonna see if it will come on back. And I think that it will. I hope it will. And I think it's going to be beautiful sitting here in this open spot. Remember, on this side is where the tubs are going to go. And then again, like we had last year, all the way down this run until you get to the potato bed, which is right here. Okay, now we're out in the greenhouse. And there's all the tomatoes that we had to seed start twice. And we have some peppers. So it won't be long, I'll be able to get these planted also. I didn't get the best germination out of the white marigolds, but I've got 5, so I'm happy with that. Here's some more tomatoes. Okay, so these are the cool jalapenos. That's a bale. Now those will also be planted to the west side of the garden. And if we look down in here, I've got dahlias, zinnias, and it looks like alyssum or alyssum, depending on where you're standing at. Now look at Mr. Buddy's stuff. Yes, we have a lot of planting to do. The aloe veras have gone crazy. The fig trees have gone crazy. Here's some more of the aloe veras. I'm telling you, this greenhouse is just, it's thriving, but it's almost overwhelming. See? Yes, it's a mess, guys. Look at this here. I'm telling you, it's a hot mess. This year, it's just been, I don't know. I am so unorganized this year. But, you know, that's okay. We'll get it all cleaned up once we get everything out and planted. Now, y'all want to see what's in here? Of course, we have our lemon tree. We haven't moved it out. There is our blueberries. And this is the pepper plants that we brought in from last winter that we've got to replant again or put out there. This is a pomegranate tree right here that a friend of ours gave to Buddy last year, and he thought it was just dead. But he trimmed it up, and I think it's able to go into the ground now. There is my sweet potato slips, if I ever see any, but it has been cool, so I look for it to come on. And then way down there is the oregano, and no, I have yet to get that bucket out. Guys, there's just so much time, and we've just doing what we can in between all the rain showers. Whew, it's a lot of work, and when you're fighting nature, y'all know how it is. You know, you do the best you can, and you work when you're able to, and when nature says stop, you stop. But I'm very pleased to see life growing again in my garden. Wasn't that fun? I love going to the garden. And I knew I had missed Sunday. I'm sure many of you were like, where's the garden update? So, like I said, hopefully now we can get back on track. I got new sneakers on my vehicle and everything else on the vehicle. Hence, we got to put off the tractor now. Y'all, I'm going to tell you what. They don't fool around when they hit you with that ticket that says da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, holy hell. Whew, that was an expense, I'm just going to say. But we're back in the house. We're back with the beans. And it's been, I'm going to be honest with you, about 25 minutes. Because I think y'all were out there with me for 15, 20 of it. So let's say about 25 minutes. And I want to show you what these beans look like on a low simmer after 25 minutes. Because we got to add, yeah, I was slinging my spoon. Because we're going to add something. Here is my low simmer. Now you see some water has cooked down. And they're starting to, but they're still tough. But they're starting to expand. And this is when I like to add, and it's not much, guys. It's just a little flavor. I mean, that's really a half a teaspoon of this chicken base. I love this stuff. I just love it. I've got the lobster now, the beef, the chicken. They've got so many, and a little bit goes a long ways. And it's going to add some flavor. Now, you'll have to be careful with your salt because this is salty. So, yeah, got it off my spoon. Put the lid back on. I'm not going to season them probably for another 30 minutes. So, while I wait for my 30 minutes, I've got to go fold some towels. Yes, you know, Mondays is my house day. Well, I didn't get it yesterday. So, I had to do Tuesday, which is today, to get my Monday chores done. So I had one more load, and that's the towels I need to get folded. And we'll be back in about 30 minutes, start seasoning these, adding some more water if we need to. And we're going to make a small pan of cornbread, a skillet. And that's our supper, along with the ham. I hear them beans just bubbling away. I've got my oven preheated at 425, and I have my iron skillet in there heating. So this is about, I think it's a number 8 in the iron skillet. This is a half batch of cornbread that I'm making. I don't need a big, huge skillet. It's just Buddy and I, and it'd give us leftovers. So I'm going to drop the camera. I've got y'all completely at a different angle. So hopefully you can see better with the lighting that we have. Matter of fact, I got my lighting set wrong. This is one of these lights that I can hit the wall button 2 or 3 times and change it. So let me go change that light because I don't even have it set right. Oh yeah, y'all can see I actually had to move you back to your normal spot. I had you on the side and you couldn't have seen it anyway. And I know you can't see my head, but we're gonna make it work like this. I've just got a mixing bowl and I am going to add 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. This is not the mix, this is plain yellow cornmeal. And I'm just gonna add a cup. There you go, 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. Easy. And I'm gonna measure this out. I need a 1/2 cup. I'm just gonna use my 1 cup measure. It's very forgiving, guys. A little bit more. Okay, there's our 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Like I said, this goes so fast. Now with my hands, I'm gonna measure about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And that's Redmond real salt. Now this is an option. We like it. About that's too much. About a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. You can leave it out. It's not gonna make it sweet, but to me it just balances it. Now baking soda. I am going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and I'm gonna add a tablespoon of baking powder. Oh, sorry, anytime I'm using buttermilk, I do add baking soda. So that was a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and a tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and about a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. And y'all hear my oven, it's going off. Okay. Now I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. And it's gonna be your choice because we need a total of 1.5 cups. I'm gonna add a cup of whole milk. So you could do a cup of buttermilk and a 1/2 cup of whole milk, but I like a 1/2 cup of buttermilk and a cup of whole milk. Now we're gonna give this a good stir. And I'm gonna get ready to add my egg. There's our egg. I'm just gonna use the same whisk and kind of whisk it around just to break it up. Just like that. And just get it well and combined. I pulled my skillet out of the oven. I have my stove on about a 6 because I want to keep that skillet hot because I need to melt our bacon grease. There's a tablespoon. And here's another one. I know it's hard for y'all to see and it looks like a lot, but we're going to be adding this bacon grease to our cornbread mix. Now I'm going to pour about a tablespoon of the 2 tablespoons of bacon grease into our cornbread. It's going to give it amazing flavor. Give it a good mix. Turn the stove eye off and we're going right into this hot skillet. And see, this is the perfect amount for this 8-inch skillet. Now into a 425 degree oven without spilling it. Now we got to season these beans because they are tender. They've been going about an hour and a half, so we're right on time. I want y'all to look at this. Now I will be adding a little bit more water right after we season them. I gotta refill my salt. Now remember, you're gonna have to salt to taste, but that chicken base is salty. But I am going to add a teaspoon of salt. I will be adding a heaping teaspoon of minced garlic. I'm going to add my voodoo dust. It's a house seasoning. Oh yeah. Now I will add more pepper, only I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. You see, not much. The last thing I'm going to add is a little bit of onion powder. Even though I have an onion in here, we love the flavor. And we'll have sliced fresh onion on the side. I can't talk today. My tongue is all tied. Okay, if I had to guess, about 3/4 of a cup. I made a mess. Okay, I'm gonna put the lid back on. It is, what time is it? It's 4:30. So I'm gonna let these go another hour to hour and a half. We eat at 6 o'clock. So the only thing left to do is to let these beans cook about another hour and a half, probably an hour and 15 minutes because it's 4:30. Get the cornbread out, and I'm just gonna warm that ham because it was already pre-cooked. Buddy had sliced it at the holidays, and then in January we had another whole ham. This is just a solid chunk of ham. I'm just gonna warm it up in a skillet, and that is supper. So I'm gonna wash up my dishes. We're gonna get the cornbread out. When it's done, it's gonna take about 30-35 minutes. Then we'll be back to show you the cornbread. I am smelling these beans. Now, I'll tell you something. What I like to do, right about the last 10 minutes of these beans cooking, I will actually go in with a potato masher and just mash just a few. Not many, but that's going to thicken it up if you like that, and we do. So about the last 10-15 minutes of your cooking, if you'll take a potato masher, or you can mash them against the wall of the pot. It's going to add a good consistency, a thickness to your beans. I do that to all my beans. All right, time to wash dishes and wait on the cornbread. Uh-oh. Y'all look at that. I am going to fix that. Sometimes this 8-inch skillet, I don't know why, but right in the center, it will crack. But guess what? That's still going to be so good. Listen, I love that crunch, guys. Love it, love it, love it. Look at these delicious beans. You see that juice? It's thick. Just how we like them. Here is our ham steaks and our beautiful cornbread. And it's 5:20 in the evening. So I would say I was on time again. It just becomes habit. Y'all know, if it's 6 o'clock supper time, you're always right on time for the most part. So yeah, I am tickled with our supper. I'm tickled that I was able to catch up from yesterday. I am glad that the last 3-4 days is in my rear view. Y'all hear them birds? In my rear view window. So yeah, I think I can get back on schedule, but don't worry, I am okay. So yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all what, you rock. Emailing me, checking on me, because I'm always consistent. And I should have done a community post, and guys, I did not even think about it. Matter of fact, I think it was Friday, or it might have been Saturday, I had made a comment to Allison and Wanda. I said, I need to do a community post. I do remember saying that, and it left me, guys. It just left me. And you guys are very important to me. But, you know, sometimes we're like that hamster in that wheel, and we're just steadily rolling and rolling and rolling and thinking, is there an exit door? Well, I found my exit door this morning, so all is well. And as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I will see you on the next one. And we're going to be planting together. Tomorrow is another beautiful day with even warmer temps. Yes, we're getting into those 80s. So you know where I'll be, in the garden with you guys. Till the next one.